Hey, welcome back everyone. Scotty Combat here, and today I want to talk about something really exciting, and that is the Krypt for Mortal Kombat Legacy Kollection. And yes, that is the current word being used right now through Digital Eclipse that is being shared by Dan Amrich. There's so many exciting things to dissect from this without really being spoilers, just really sharing the surface level of what to expect in the game. We already know we're getting character biographies, but this being something completely separate and just something to give us to sink our teeth into, those familiar with the Krypt, I'm sure you're already excited, and it usually changes throughout the games, but it's generally the same concept. So from my understanding, it will have the canon ending for every character, which is something that we really haven't seen before. I mean, we've seen where characters end up in canon, but I think this is going to be fleshed out a little more, and this isn't Digital Eclipse making this up. They do have someone from NRS that went through this process with them, and then NRS went ahead and verified it as well once they were finished making this. There's some very exciting details to jump into here. It looks like there's going to be over 40,000 words, or possibly 40,000 to be exact, of lore to dive into in the Krypt or Chronicle of Realms, which sounds like will be included in the Krypt. Essentially, it's an area to unlock a bunch of things Mortal Kombat related, whether it's concept art, whether it's endings, or biographies, which we're already getting character biographies, but this is going to work a little differently from my understanding. So for example, it is canon that Liu Kang wins the Mortal Kombat tournaments, right? But it's honestly very exciting because they added their own theory crafting to it, because you can choose a different character and see what their ending would have been like. We were shared some of the details of what to expect in the Legacy Kollection Krypt, but we weren't given the full tour, which I'm glad, because I do want to be surprised by many of these things. For example, we will be getting these character endings, and we will be getting the hypothetical endings, but also we'll get a backstory of our favorite characters and what they were doing in the meantime. Well, here's a short example. So in vanilla Mortal Kombat 3, Scorpion wasn't around. He just wasn't in the game. In fact, most ninjas weren't. Sub-Zero was, but he was unmasked. I'm curious to see how far they're going to lean in that direction, but to make it even easier to understand, let's use Raiden, because Raiden wasn't available in MK3 or UMK3. We'll be able to see where these characters ended up going, and then what they were doing during the time of that game, and this also includes the comics. So it does sound like they are going in every direction regarding lore, and I do think it's fun that they're also going to throw some theory crafting in there as well. Now, specifically name dropped in the interview that caught me off guard was Chameleon and Me. So for those that aren't aware, Me is specifically introduced in Mortal Kombat 4. Now, something I'm speculating here that I find interesting is if you get the collector's edition, that is the pre-order for Legacy Kollection, it does include a lore book. In the Krypt, they're including what's called the Chronicle of the Realms, which sounds like the actual Mortal Kombat lore from the beginning with the Elder Gods up to Mortal Kombat 4, which is going to be explained in about 14,000 words. And I'm wondering if that lore book is going to be the physical copy of what we're going to see here, which is called the Chronicle of the Realms, that's going to be included in the Krypt. Jumping back to the character profiles real quick, again, I had mentioned Meat and Chameleon. I wonder if we're going to see any of the characters that didn't make it in there, like Belloc. I feel like that might be a reach, but anything's possible, right? Something else I want to share that I find really cool about these characters that's going to be in the Krypt is if they weren't available in a prequel game, you can actually still see where they were and what they were up to then. Now, they didn't specify in how much detail they're going to go with that, but let's use Ermac as an example. Ermac wasn't in MK2 or an MK1, but there might be some story there for what Ermac was up to. I think Smoke is also a great example for this, and Jade. So they're both available in the Living Forest in Mortal Kombat 2, but neither character is playable, but they were there. So we do know a little story there, but I'm curious to see how far they do go with the details of these characters. What's wild to me is how much content we're getting with the Legacy Kollection that we unfortunately couldn't get with Mortal Kombat 1 that I'm sure many of us would have loved to have had with Mortal Kombat 1. Not to mention, it's just nice that we're getting modern features in the Legacy Kollection as well. This is being treated as if it were being a newer Mortal Kombat game. Being able to practice moves, being able to practice fatalities, even being able to choose the stages. And now we're also getting a Krypt, which may be subject to name as far as change. We're not sure yet. I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and call it the Krypt because it's already a staple. It's been around since Deadly Alliance. I say keep including the Krypt no matter what the manner is as far as revealing content, whether that's concept art or biographies, or even some DLC if they want to throw that in there, like an alternative costume or some palettes. The Krypt is always very fun to go in there and unlock things for the game. I actually hope this is progression based, like we know that secrets are going to be unlocked just like that, right? But I would be very happy if there's some kind of currency we can earn in Legacy Collection, or if we unlock these things by completing things with characters. I don't know if it's all going to be available right up front, or if we do have to earn these things in the game. Now honestly, as far as presentation in the Krypt, I'm not expecting anything like this, that is Mortal Kombat 11's Krypt, because again, this is the arcade era. I expect it to be somewhat similar to the character biographies that we're already seeing, unless that's already tied in with it, right? And personally, I actually really like the very first Krypt, which is Deadly Alliance, where it's all the coffins lined up in alphabetical order from AA, AB, AC, AD, all the way until you get to the very back row, ending in ZZ. Some of those letter combinations were pretty funny. You would unlock one, say like the one for FU, the coffin would open up and you wouldn't get a reward out of it. They were mindful of the acronyms. I think that was pretty fun, like EB was for Ed Boon. Absolutely, there's many things to speak on this. I'm just excited we're even getting a Krypt for Legacy Collection. I feel like we're getting so much content already that is just within the games themselves. We're getting handheld games, we're getting the mainline arcade games, and then we're getting console versions of them. Granted, we're not getting all the ports we want, like the N64 trilogy or the UMK3 for Sega, or most likely from the sounds of it, we won't be seeing Mortal Kombat Gold off the bat. I will say, personally, I think we're getting a plethora of content. That's everything that we know so far. To me, it feels like we're getting the Tobias era of Mortal Kombat content. And with that being said, although I don't expect this, but apparently there is a Tobias version of Special Forces where Sonya Blade is included but the game's not finished. I guess it's not technically preservation since it was never technically released. I still think it'd be cool to test out Sonya in whatever capacity was available at that time. I'm not going to lose any sleep over not getting it. We're already getting so much. None of us have got the product yet, but just from what can be seen, I can already say I think this product is an absolute steal. I would like to back that up by saying this is probably more appetizing to those that are experienced or familiar with the arcade era. Some folks that haven't played the arcade era may have no interest in this, or just think it looks like crap because the games they want to see in there aren't in there. I think many of us have already seen that kind of feedback, and those of us that truly want to play these games are very excited for what we're getting with this. Unlike the arcade collection that just came out with MK, MK2, and UMK3, and a moves list for each game, we're getting MK all the way up to MK4. That includes Trilogy. Both of these games, that is MK4 and Trilogy, are finally going to have online access. We're getting modern features like a way to practice our moves, a fatality trainer. We're getting the Krypt back. We're also getting a deep dive into the lore, and then we're also going to see the interviews as well. I really hope WB and NetherRealm can see how Legacy Collection is doing it, which I would say I'm sure NRS had some input on this anyway, because I think moving forward with modern Mortal Kombat titles, there should be some things that should be expected. I think it's totally fine to try new game modes, but when you put them out there to replace existing ones that fans are familiar with and love, like invasions over the Krypt and putting a shrine there instead, that was a pretty big gamble. Again, I'm totally open to new game modes, but I do think there are certain things they should preserve, the Krypt being one of them, and I'm very happy and excited and surprised to see this in Legacy Collection. PAX West is slated for tomorrow. That is going to be the last stop for the Kombat Tour. The interview that covers the Chronicle of the Realms and the Krypt has been out there with MKSecrets. So with that being said, I'm not sure if they're really going to go ahead and cover that at PAX West and do like a general overview of everything, or if at PAX West the main focus isn't going to be on things such as release dates and any other reveals we're not aware of yet. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. Let me know what you think down below. Genuinely speaking, I don't think I could be more excited. I cannot wait to get the Legacy Collection, to find out these dates, and to finally get our hands on it. And fellow fighters, I thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and as always, I thank you for your support. If you'd like to join our Discord, please do let me know, and I will see you all live and or in the next video. Much love, my friends, and take care.